We set aside this part here to be a stream bank buffer, to be a wildlife habitat. We enrolled the stream in the Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program to put a buffer between where we're maximizing the use of the land for high quality forages, high yields, and the nutrient management system that enables that. The buffer is here as a space between the stream and those practices. The establishment phase, we had a commercial crew come in and plant trees all in one day. Ahead of time we did some planning and talked with the folks to pick out which species we wanted, but used their advice to lay everything out. Part of the installation process was to have shelters and stakes. In that first year, we kept an area clear around them so that voles wouldn't come in and damage the roots. And you look back at the end of the year and find a small percentage of them that didn't survive. And so year 2, we replaced a couple missing ones. Eventually, as they get mature enough, deer are going to find their way here and start doing antler rubs on some of them. And so you lose a few trees that way. We just found that it was necessary 2 or 3 times over the 17-year installation here. We found open areas, replaced them with seedlings, and they took off. At this point, we have enough mature trees that they're reseeding themselves, and any open area is going to have some tree seedlings going. So that first initial management phase kind of slows down to where the forest takes care of itself at some point. The NRCS paid for the actual installation of the trees and the fence on the side of the stream where the animals are grazing. They offer an annual rent payment each year, and that probably defrays my costs for going through and scouting and taking out invasives or replacing trees as needed. Our local conservation office provides free seedlings and shelters every year for anyone with a riparian buffer that needs to replace trees. So there's no out-of-pocket cost there. We're located in the Chesapeake Bay watershed. It's received some scrutiny just because of how productive the farmland is. And there are a lot of animals relative to some other parts of the country that live here. The buffer was installed 17 years ago. You can see behind me we've got trees that look like they're mature trees now. What used to be open pasture ground now is where we find all sorts of wildlife coming through. When you look back on dairy production in the U.S., historically, there were few outside pressures. You use the tools that you have available, you make the milk, you got a buyer for the milk, and they're end customers. Over time, we're getting expectations of how is the milk produced. Consumers are interested in where their food comes from. They're not just buying a product that's on the shelf. They want to know the story behind it. They want to know the practices behind it. They want to know that we care about the environment that we live in. I've got a living, breathing example on the farm of something extra we did beyond what was expected maybe in the past. The stream running through here empties into a neighborhood, empties into a watershed, empties into the industry, in the Chesapeake Bay, empties into the ocean. And all along there's communities that are relying on that waterway. So I'm up at the tributaries of the very headwaters of it, and we can put a kind of a seal of approval on the products that we produce when we can demonstrate we can be responsible with the waterways running through our farms. It gives us license to continue production agriculture in this watershed when we can show that we're making substantial progress in protecting the waterways.